Okay, let's do this. Hello you guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Mina. If you're not new here, welcome back. I love you guys so much. You have no idea what this YouTube community means to me. I love it here so much and I'm glad you guys are here. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so now. I would really appreciate it and it helps me out so much. I have my afternoon coffee, we're sitting in my bed, and as you saw by the title, we are doing a Q&A. Me and you are besties. We're just chatting, having a good time. It is cozy vibes over here. So a couple days ago over on Instagram, I asked you guys to send in some questions and you guys came through. I did take a peek at some of them. I'm so excited. We're talking like besties on FaceTime. None of this is obviously rehearsed, but some of them are a little juicy. I'm excited. I do have a lot of mommy questions, a lot of baby questions, a lot of marriage questions. Nothing really crazy about me or myself. After you're married and have a baby, you're basically chopped liver. I joke. There are some questions about me. It's really cute actually. I kind of want to keep it a little bit light and airy first before we get into all the postpartum chaos and questions. Okay, well, we'll start with how did you and your husband meet? I wish it was some kind of like crazy revolutionary story, but we honestly kind of met through Instagram, but mostly because my friend from San Antonio moved to Arizona for dental school where she met my husband. She was in the grade below him. She reached out to me and she was like, hey, so what is your relationship status? Are you trying to talk to someone? I have a really good guy for you. And I was open to it. So he ended up following me over on Instagram. I think it was probably like a week to 2 weeks after he followed me, he finally DM'd me. I had already known he wanted to talk to me because of her, so finally when he reached out, I responded and I really didn't know what to expect. Like, I had never met this guy. Of course, my friend, she like put in a pretty good word for him. She spoke about him and his character to me, so it was kind of like she gave me a green flag, like this guy is actually good, he's not a creep, whatever. This is such a cliche and I actually hate it so much, but from that first conversation that we had, I knew I was going to marry him. A lot of people ask like, how do you know, like what is that feeling? And it just, I can't explain it. With Romad from the beginning, it was very straightforward, very transparent. There were no games. And yeah, the rest is history. I am the worst at keeping secrets, so I couldn't even hide it from my family for long. I think I talked to him for about like a week before I told my mom, and then we told the rest of my family after another week, and then after a month, him and his family came to visit me and my family, and the families just clicked, and alhamdulillah. When people say marriage is hard, it's true, but also life is hard. Marriage shouldn't be so hard. You and your partner should be compatible enough to go through how hard life is, making decisions together, and you guys are a team. Staying on the topic of marriage, what to look for in a man before getting married. I'm getting married soon. This is a really good one because it differs for everybody. Like, what is high on your priority list is different than what might be high on my priority list. But for me, character is number one because I don't feel like you really can change someone's character or someone's character can change. They are who they are. They were raised that way. That's, that's just who they are, and you have to take them for what they are. That's another big one about marriage or relationships. You can't change anyone that doesn't want to change. You can't change anyone, and you shouldn't want to change anyone. If you want to change someone, you shouldn't be with them. Take them for who they are. So for me, their character, how they treat others, how they treat you, how they treat their family. I really care about someone's deen, like how they hold on to their religion. I need you to pray, I need you to fast, yada yada yada. One other big one for me is I cannot stand a cheap man. Personally, for me, that's a big no-no. I love to see someone that is giving. I'm not saying you need to spend and get me extravagant gifts, and honestly, not just in money or material, but like in their time. What did you do before becoming an influencer? I never started social media with the intention of becoming an influencer. It just kind of landed in my lap and I'm so grateful for it. But before I was an influencer, I was a behavioral therapist. So I worked with kids who had autism of all different ages, all different stages. That time of my life really made me reflect on a lot. The challenges that families go through when they have kiddos on the spectrum is actually insane. That was a really difficult time in my life. I struggled a lot actually with it, and I just genuinely pray for every mom and family that is going through it. Not that your life is bad automatically or ruined or anything, but it definitely comes with a set of challenges that makes life a little bit more difficult. Let's get into mommy and baby questions. This one says, you seem to love being a mom so much, Allahumma barik. When did you know you were ready? I also got, do you ever feel ready to be a mom? Okay, so let's start with, when did you know you were ready? Me and my husband were married for 4 years. When we got married, we were like 2 years, you know, we'll get to travel, we'll get to know each other, really live with each other, get acquainted, and then we'll have kids, inshallah. Like we were planning on having kids after 2 years. 2 years came around and we were like, oh, I don't know. I don't think it's the time. And so then another year went on, and then we thought about it again. Year 4 came around and we were like, we started toying with the idea. I don't know, we just kind of thought about it and we were like, what are we waiting for? We'll just do life with kids. I'm getting older, I'm 30, and I just don't want to be like, I just don't want to be too old and tired when raising kids. So I was like, okay, now's the time. I've lived through my 20s. I've had a good amount of time living with my husband, just us two doing all the things. So why not? And yeah, subhanAllah, that's just Allah's timing is perfect, and it was perfect for us. To piggyback off of that, did you ever feel ready to be a mom? And truly the answer is no. I never, like, even when I was pregnant, I couldn't imagine what it was really going to be like to be a mom. People really romanticize the idea of being a mom. When you're pregnant, it's like really cute and it's like, oh, I'm gonna be a mom, I'm gonna have a baby. And yeah, yes, do all that, romanticize it. But becoming a mom is so different, and like all the challenges that come with being a mom, I don't think that you will ever be ready for it. At least for me, I don't know. If you're a mom, did you ever feel ready to become a mom? Because I feel like it just hits you and you're like, this is what we're doing now? Do you want more kids? How many children do you want, inshallah? Yes, absolutely. I want more kids. I don't know how many I want. It's really like hard to visualize what life will be like with more kids. Like life with Zayn is already so crazy. I am 8 months postpartum, just finding my groove with things. I'm feeling a lot more confident as a mom, and I definitely do want kids. Both me and Umar came from families of 6, so like mom, dad, and then 4 kids, so us and 3 other siblings. I personally love that dynamic that we have, like me and my siblings. So if I have another boy, I'd be so happy. If I have a girl, I'll also be very happy. Oh, this one is good. How do you deal with the roommate phase with husband after having a baby? Oh my god, you guys. This is something that honestly I was mortified of before having Zayn, like throughout pregnancy. I constantly thought of how my relationship with my husband would change, and everyone talked about that, and it's true. Your relationship with your husband will most likely change. And that's not to scare anyone or say it's in a bad way necessarily. It's weird because I feel like there were stages postpartum that things changed. Immediately after I was in the newborn bubble, I was running on adrenaline. Life was a dream. I mean, it was very difficult, don't get me wrong. Waking up in the middle of the night, the feeding, the breastfeeding, all that. But overall, my husband really stepped up to the plate, and I just fell in love with him so much more. I was like, this is why it's so important to marry the right man. This is why it's so important to marry a man, period. You do not want to deal with boys, children, guys that make things about themselves. No. My husband like went above and beyond. My mom was also there to help me, thank God, my mother-in-law as well, but my mom lived with me for a month postpartum, and wow, it was so helpful. But my husband was also incredible. And then from months 4 to 6, things changed. Hormonally, for a woman, after 4 months, things really change. And wow, I felt that. First of all, the adrenaline out the window. I was tired on a different level. Like, newborn tired was one thing, but I don't even feel like it was bad as 4-month tired. Definitely started bickering a little bit more, just having like, it was a little rough. Like, we both ruffled each other's feathers. Getting over the roommate phase is hard because you both have to know that you are on the same team, you're going through the same thing together. Moms definitely on a higher level, men and dads need to really be cautious of all the changes going on for a woman and accept them, and also just be patient. We are going through so many changes internally, it's hard for us to understand and grasp what's happening. There are times when I'm crying and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying. Just hug me, give me affection. Like, I don't need you to problem solve right now. Like, I just want to be felt and heard. Just know that it's a phase and that you are on the same team, and the phase will pass and you will eventually be able to get back to where you're at, as long as you're both working together to get there. Just gonna be honest and be straight up. Me and my husband haven't gone on a solo date in 8.5 months, as old as Zane is. We haven't. Since before I gave birth, me and him haven't gone on a solo date, not once. And that's partially my fault because I am a helicopter mom and I don't reach out for help. I don't reach out for anyone to watch Zane. I don't know why, just like, I'm very protective, and it is what it is. That's just who I am. But I think I'm finally getting to the point where I'm feeling ready for people to watch him, at least maybe put him to sleep, and then they stay home while me and him go out. Aside from going out and doing all that, just doing small little acts of kindness for each other really just, I don't know, it really just helps lift the mood and remind each other that you still care about each other. I honestly have no idea if I answered that really good or not. How was your breastfeeding journey? This is a tough one, and I briefly talked about it over on Instagram one time when I did another question box and I answered questions over on stories. My breastfeeding journey was quite the journey. So I had an emergency C-section at 37 weeks. I had my whole birth story over on TikTok. I should have recorded one for here. I was not prepared to have a C-section. I never even looked into having a C-section or anything C-section recovery related. I actually wanted a full-on unmedicated natural birth. Wild. But I had a C-section, and alhamdulillah, happy he's here, healthy, I'm healthy, everything was fine except for the healing process. The healing process was brutal. It was so hard for me to breastfeed because of the pain I was in from my C-section incision. Also, I don't think it's talked about enough how difficult breastfeeding is. Let me tell you, my whole life, I was like, yeah, breastfeeding, I'm gonna breastfeed. Obviously, most everyone wants to breastfeed. Unless you decide not to, all power to you. But, you know, as women, it's just in our nature to breastfeed. So you go through life thinking you are going to breastfeed your baby. Throughout my whole entire pregnancy, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna breastfeed, but in case it doesn't happen, I'll get formula. Got formula just in case. My milk came in, everything was great until I couldn't get it. It wasn't intuitive for me. I just could not figure out how to latch Zane. I don't know, like, we're not gonna get into woman anatomy right now, but it was hard for him to latch and it was hard for me to figure it out. On top of that, going through the pain from my C-section, I just decided for a couple days I'm just gonna pump, and I was like, perfect, that way whoever can feed him, I'll have my milk stored. Yeah, my breastfeeding journey was really non-existent. I exclusively pumped for about 3.5 months. Around 3 months, I started noticing that Zane was having a lot of gas, a lot of reflux, and he was just so uncomfortable. Took him to the pediatrician and we discovered that he has CMPA, cow milk protein allergy. He needed dairy-free milk, which means I had to eat dairy-free so he can have dairy-free milk. That in and of itself was so hard for me to go dairy-free for him. Gosh, my mental health was so bad at that time. I hated every day that I had to sit in my little jail cell and pump. Like, just, I had the portable pumps, I had the Spectra, I had everything. Just pumping in and of itself was so miserable, so miserable, and time consuming, and cleaning the pump parts. Obviously, I don't know why it hurts me that I decided to switch to formula, and after switching to formula, my mental health was so good. Everything was great. I actually got to enjoy holding my baby, enjoy feeding my baby. Breastfeeding alone, like, I didn't really breastfeed. I did see a lactation consultant. It was like weeks, if not a month, after I had been feeding bottles to Zane. So having him go from bottle to boob was favorable for him for some reason. So we just stuck to bottles, and then eventually I switched to formula. I love. Which formula do you use for your son? My DTR, my daughter has CMPA too. So we were using Nutramigen up until he was 6 months, I think, and then I switched him to Bobby Gentle, and we have been smooth sailing. Everything was perfect. He wasn't spitting up anymore. He wasn't gassy or bloated or anything. I'm gonna say, if you are a mother who is having trouble with breastfeeding, it is okay to let it go. I promise you, your baby will not know the difference. Your baby will be okay, and most importantly, you will be okay, and you will be better, in a better state of mind to take care of your baby, who needs you to be in a good state of mind. How do you deal with postpartum weight gain, and do you struggle with body image, especially after birth? I've discussed this a little bit over on TikTok, I believe, but I struggled with body dysmorphia my whole entire life, and I still do. There's just some wiring in here that's just not really, like, it's a little loose. How do you deal with it? I don't really know. Like, you either have to make a decision that you are going to start eating healthy, work out, and just change your habits to lose the weight, or you're gonna be stuck. For me personally, after I switched to formula, I decided I was going to lock in and start eating clean and try to work out. I've worked out 2 times since giving birth. Coming from the biggest workout girly, that is very disappointing. I was really into fitness, really into health, and I just haven't been able to work out the way I want to. Part of that reason is because I developed something called Dequervians, I think is what it's called. I'll actually write its name over here. So basically, I messed up my wrist really bad in my left hand. This is another question. How's your Dequervians? I have a 9-month-old, and mine's getting worse every day. When Zane was born, I would literally hold him like this and feed him his bottle like this. And your wrist is not used to being in this formation, especially for long periods of time. So I really hurt my wrist. I injured it, and at around 4 months postpartum, I went and I saw a specialist, and he gave me a cortisone steroid shot, and honestly, I think I had a good month of relief, and then it came back. Now it is so bad, my wrist like pops out of place. I can't like put too much weight on it. I can't carry Zane alone with this arm. I can't hold, like, it hurts in certain positions, and so I can't work out. I can't lift weights, let alone hold a barbell. This is really stopping me from living my life and also getting healthy, but I'm also making excuses for myself because I do have a walking pad, and I can walk on my walking pad because walking is such an underrated form of exercise. But I am going out and walking, especially now that the weather has cooled down a bit. But in regards to my Dequervians, if that's what it's called. Maybe getting surgery. I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna go that route, but it's definitely been something that I've been thinking about because I just need my wrist to get better so I can use my arm and be able to function normally. A lot of baby sleep and sleep training questions, and the truth is I have a good sleeper. I didn't sleep train. I mean, okay, let me tell you guys what I've done for my son to get him sleeping for long stretches throughout the night. Number one is literally the day we got home from the hospital, I started his nighttime routine. Starting at 7 o'clock, all our lights off. The only lights we were using are like lamps. We kept him in a dark room. If he was up to feed, it stayed dark. Red light was on, or really dim yellow light, so that he knows it is nighttime, we are sleeping, there is nothing going on, literally since day one that we got home from the hospital. This is kind of how his bedtime routine would go. We would bathe him. At this point, lights are dim, lights are off. I have blackout curtains, dark room. Feed him in the dark, sound machine on. That's it. I would hold him, rock him in my arms until he fell asleep, and then I would put him in his bassinet. Starting at 4 months, I started noticing his patterns of waking up through the night. And what I did is, after I got clearance from my pediatrician that he did not need to be waking up for night feeds based on his weight and consuming his calories throughout the day, and I started noticing the frequency of when he was waking up, and it was the same times every single day. It was 12 a.m., so at midnight, and then 4 a.m. 12 a.m. made sense because it would be like if he slept at 6, he would wake up at 12, so that's like a long period of time, and so I definitely thought he still needed to keep that feed, but the 4 a.m. one did not really make sense. I decided that one was out of habit, and what I did to eliminate that feed is reduce the amount of milk I was giving him. So if he was having a 6-ounce bottle, I changed it to 2 ounces until he stopped waking up completely at that time on his own. I never left him to be hungry. Obviously he's a baby, and if your baby is waking up because they are hungry and they are not consuming enough calories and ounces throughout the day, you need to feed them at night until they are consuming all of their ounces during the daytime. Then the midnight one, the 12 a.m. one. After he was having his last feed of the day, I decided I was going to put him in his crib to sleep until 12 a.m. when he would wake up for his next feed. And then I would bring him from his crib over to my room and put him in the bassinet. I would feed him and then put him in the bassinet next to me, and he would sleep next to me for the rest of the night. Another thing that I have to mention really quick is I started putting him in his crib for naps starting at like 2 or 3 months. He got really used to his crib and he really loved it. It was super comfortable. We have the Newton mattress. One day randomly, he slept through the night. And that's when I realized that he does not need to have any feeds throughout the night anymore. The only exceptions are when he is teething. If your baby is teething, they definitely need that extra love. So if they're waking up throughout the night, I know it's hard, but definitely give them that comfort. Just let them know that you're there and that you love them. You don't have to pick them up. At the end of the day, do what's best for you and your baby. Talk about your postpartum experience, postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression, recovery, newborn stage. That in itself needs a whole video. Honestly, it is, oh my god. Now that I'm like 8.5 months postpartum, I've done a lot of reflecting on my postpartum, on my freshly postpartum self. And I wish I could just go back and give myself a hug, tell myself it's going to be okay. Like, that was a wild ride, and not to scare anybody. Truly, it is the most magical time of your life, but it is also very difficult just because you have no control of what you're going through internally. It makes things so hard. I think this might be the last question I answer, but how has mom life changed your daily routines? You guys, oh, there's another one I really want to answer. Change them in every way possible. I can no longer just pick up and go. Things need planning, like you need a good amount of time to prepare baby, prepare yourself, prepare the diaper bag. By the time you get there, you have to be mindful of wake windows, nap times. It really just has changed everything so significantly, but I don't want to scare anyone when I say that. Like, I wouldn't trade having him for the world. Having Zane has given me so much purpose in my life. He gives my life meaning, and he's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. How are the kitties with Zane? This one really weighs heavy on me because my cats have had a really difficult time adjusting to having a baby in the house. One of my cats, Nova, is like super attached to me. She's literally my shadow and follows me around everywhere. So her not having all the attention has been hard on her, and she's been extra clingy. My other cat, Nala, has decided that she is going to lash out on her sister, Nova. So every time Nova passes by her, she hisses at her. They don't cuddle anymore. It just makes me so sad because they are litter mates. Like, they are from the same litter. They are sisters, and I got them for each other so that they always have each other. I couldn't even fathom taking one without the other, and they were the last two of the litter, so I took them both for each other. Now I have them lashing out at each other because of the change that has come with Zane. They're not aggressive towards him whatsoever. They stay away from him. He loves to chase after them, but they just want nothing to do with him. I hope that eventually we get back to a point of them loving each other. I don't know if I need to seek a professional or who to go to for help, because seeing them not lovey towards each other really just hurts my heart. But I know Nova and Zane are going to be besties in the end. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and being here. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. There are truly some topics that I have been meaning to really talk about, but I haven't during my vlogs or any of my videos over on TikTok or Instagram. I hope that gave you guys a little bit more insight into me and my life. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any other video requests or anything that you're wanting to see from me, please leave it in the comments below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!